Hello you lot, it's Joe Parachute from Prometheus here. I've just done another little walk very quickly. This time I've taken some photos, so hopefully when I slow the video down I'll just take a couple of photos in there so you can actually have a look at the plant properly instead of it just being out of focus and in slow motion. So like I said, I've just gone for a real quick walk. I went down a real quiet road quickly as I can. Obviously if you're foraging on the side of roads you need to be really careful about the traffic, so don't stop on the corner. Make sure that the cars have got plenty of time to be able to see you, so you can get into the hedge a little bit more or onto the pavement, or the car can slow down and go around you. So yeah, another load of little plants. It's quite crazy how many there are about. So I'm going to do these broken down into sort of 10-15 minute segments this time, because it took 3 days to upload the last lot. So yeah, enjoy. So I've come across this one. It's in somebody's garden, so it's not really foraging, but you might find it in the wild. This is sage, your normal garden sage. It likes to be cooked with pork, sage and pork, obviously sage and onion stuffing and all that kind of stuff you can use it with. It's got loads of other uses as well. It's good for hot flushes, it's good for night sweats, sore throats and colds. It basically loosens mucus, so it's a handy one to know. It's also got ritual uses. It's used to cleanse a space of negative energy. It's used to generate wisdom and clarity and to promote healing, so might be a good one to know at the minute. This one, again, is found in somebody's garden. Lucky people with their gardens. This is Primrose. Primula vulgaris is its Latin name. There's loads of different species. This is one that you'll normally find in the wild with the white flowers, or pale yellow flowers. Some people have got it confused in the past with digitalis when it's very juvenile. So digitalis is foxglove. Foxglove being very poisonous. Digitalis is used in heart medicine to reset the heart rhythm. So you don't really want to be ingesting that. So if you're not 100% sure, don't eat it. But if you see the little pale yellow flower, then that's going to be primrose. If you don't see it and you're not 100% sure, then don't risk it. The leaves are quite an acquired taste. They're very perfumey. So I wouldn't have too much of it. But the flowers can be sugar crystallized. You can put them on cupcakes and things like that. You know, nice edible flower. Once again, somebody's garden. This is a fig tree. There's not much leaves on there, so I can't really show you the leaf definition, but you can see the little figs are just starting to grow. They remarkably grow really well in this country, considering it's a Mediterranean plant. The best thing I use figs for is just to roast them, split them into quarters, and then a nice bit of honey and maybe some muscovado sugar on top of it with some ice cream. Beautiful. This is Buddleja. You probably won't recognise it this time of the year, but in the spring, summer, there's beautiful blue flowers, lilac flowers. Not native, it's Chinese in origin, but it's got a real good uses in bushcraft. It's got a pithy centre to the middle of a wood, so elder's also got the same pithy centre. And what you can do is you can use a tent peg, or straighten out a coat hanger. Just cut off a section, and then you can push the bit of metal down through the pithy centre and remove that inside, which means you've then got a straw. You can make whistles out of it, you can make recorders out of it. There's loads of things that would be beneficial or useful to you if you've got a hollow piece of wood. This is a bit of Buddleja that's literally growing out of a drain pipe. It's crazy how plants manage to survive in whatever situations they're put in. This is Oxalis. This is again in somebody's garden, so I nicked a little bit and ran off. There's loads of different species of Oxalis. This is your common Oxalis that you find in your garden. If you find the same kind of a plant that's in the woods and it's got a white flower with pink veins in it, that's wood sorrel. Okay, it's not part of the sorrel family. It's actually part of the Oxalis family. The reason why it's called Oxalis is because of the oxalic acid. It gives it a real lemony zing. And all oxalises are edible, but you don't want to eat too much of your normal garden oxalis, because the oxalic acid is much higher than the wood sorrel that you find in the wood. So if you want to make a sorrel soup, or just, you can use some of this stuff to decorate salads. I mean, the top restaurants in London, they pay £100 a kilo for this stuff as a micro herb. So it looks like clover, but it's got real deep lobed heart-shaped leaves, 3 heart-shaped leaves. It's normally got a red tinge to the stem. It's also got a red tinge sometimes to the underside of a leaf. But like I said, you want to find it in the woods, and make sure, if you want to make sure that it's wood sorrel, like I said, white flower, pink veins in it. It's all edible, just don't eat too much of it because it will upset your stomach, that oxalic acid. But a gorgeous thing to have. White wine sauces. It likes chicken, it likes fish. It's a real tasty one. Kids love that one. So this is greater plantain. If you remember from the last episode, I showed you ribwort plantain, which is the long, thin, Lancelot-shaped leaves. This is greater plantain, so it's got the same characteristics. It's got the big ribs on the back. It's got a flower spike, and the flower spike is actually a lot bigger than the flower spike that you'll get on ribwort. You can actually eat these seeds if you just scrape them off, mash them up with a little bit of water, cook them by the fire. You can make little cookies out of them. It's not as good medicinally as ribwort. The chemicals are still there, but they're just not as high as what you'll find in ribwort. But because of the shape of the leaves of the greater plantain, this is actually a really good thing to put in your socks if you're going walking for long periods of time. Because of the shape of it, you can put it at the end of your socks and actually stop your feet from getting tired. As soon as the leaf dries out a little bit, you just replace it with another leaf. So it's a really nice one if you're walking around. It's a nice one to know, but it still does exactly the same thing as ribwort plantain. So it's good for nettle rash, insect bites, rashes, stings, open cuts, and things like that. But ribwort is the better version of the two. This is spear thistle. Most of the UK's thistles are edible. Spear thistle is probably the best out of a lot. It's called spear thistle because the ends of the leaves look like little spears, if you can see. They've got little spikes on them. What you can do is just get a pair of scissors, cut those little spikes off, and you can use it as a replacement for cabbage. It's a little bit bitter, so just add a little bit of sugar and butter whilst you're cooking it, and don't cook it for too long because it will just turn like spinach, will turn into nothing. The great thing about spear thistle is its main stem, so if you can get rid of all of those leaves and you can actually peel the main stem. The main stem, this is quite a juvenile version, but they do get quite big. And springtime, early summer is the best time to harvest it. If you can peel off the outer layer of the main stem, then what you have in the middle there, it tastes a mixture between celery and cucumber. So it's a real nice addition. I talk a lot about leaves and stuff that you can use as salads. So to have a little bit of crunch in your salad is really, it does make a difference. So spear thistle is quite good for that. Just be careful when you're picking it and when you're peeling the main stem. You just need to strip the outside, the hairy bits of the outside. If you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this one is it's called Cotoneaster. Again, it's an ornamental. It's not native, but it has escaped from a lot of gardens. Just be aware. It's got red berries, and this is not an edible plant. Cotoneaster. It's really nice to see the bluebells and the snowdrops out at the same time. It's a real mark that that summer is well on its way to coming to us. The only reason why I want to mention bluebells is because I helped run a scout camp quite a few years ago now, and one of the scout leaders said it was a good idea for the children to eat the bluebell bulbs. Now, they're poisonous. I think he might have got confused. He probably saw a Ray Mears program where he chewed up the bulbs and used it as a glue, but he didn't ingest it. Obviously, if you are ingesting bluebell bulbs, you're going to make yourself seriously sick. So just be very, very careful. Make sure you're not ingesting it. You can use it as a glue, but there's other natural things that you can use as a glue instead of bluebell bulbs, so don't even risk it, please. Thank you. So that's it for another session of the urban foraging. I think I might give the foraging a little bit of a break and do some knife skills on the next lockdown session. So just keep safe and look after yourselves. Okay, bye bye.